It's hot.
Well, welcome. Thank you for your patience. We will now reconvene into open session, and the time is now 7:04. If you would rise and please join us for the pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right, well, thank you for being with us here tonight. We appreciate everybody being here in June's official start of summer. Just as a point of education and information, just this is a brief reminder that meetings of the board are open to the public but are not meetings of the public. We have several items to discuss tonight, but before we do that, we want to consider the items that were discussed in closed session. Do I have a motion for our first item?
I make a motion to approve all personnel recommendations, including resignations, new hires, and administrative contract renewals as presented by the administration.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Cox. It's a motion by Ms. Hassett and a second by Ms. Cox. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Okay. Could I have a motion for our second item?
I'd like to make a motion to approve Tim Baxter as principal of the Colony High School as recommended by Administration and Personnel Selection Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Timish. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Hassett. That's a motion by Ms. Timish, second by Ms. Hassett. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? And that also is unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Baxter. Would you like to come forward? Do you want to come forward and introduce your family or have your family come up? And we're going to want to take some pictures. And thank you.
Could we have any of the committee members that served on the interview team to please stand and be recognized?
Dr. Rogers, could we get a photo with
Mr. Baxter and any of the Colony teachers that are here tonight.
Absolutely. Come on.
Mom and Dad, let's get in here.
Anyone who served on the committee as well, right?
Right.
Mr. Baxter, we look forward to continuing the great work out at the Colony High School. So looking forward to the year ahead. Before we move on, I do want to just make a note. Mr. Miller is not with us tonight. He is out of town. And there are just a few little points of recognition that I'd like to make before we get into our official recognition section of the agenda. Tonight is both Dr. Burnett and Dr. Riddell's last board meeting with us. Both are retiring. And Dr. Burnett has given 40 years, is that correct? 40 years of service to public education. And Dr. Riddell, it's 42, correct? Yes, it is. Okay. So
she started in pre-K?
Wow. So they are just both dear to our district and just will be greatly missed. They have made a huge impact on our district, and we're incredibly thankful for your service and for all the many children and teachers and parents that you've supported all these years in your time. We just really appreciate you and know that you will probably want to come back and hang out in the audience because you're going to miss being up here so much. No, not really. Yeah. No. We wish you both just a lifetime of happiness in retirement. This is a wonderful next step and journey, and we know that you will continue to have a positive impact wherever you are and with whatever you do. So thank you so much. In addition to that, we've had a little movement in our leadership team, and if you didn't catch the news last week, was it last week? Then we want to just recognize Dr. Brockman. She's going to be taking on a new position on our leadership team as the Assistant Superintendent of Strategic Initiatives and Community Engagement. And we are just thrilled. She has been a great addition to this leadership team in her current capacity, and we just really look forward to you serving in this new position and just the support that it's going to give to our district. So thank you, and congratulations to you as well. Okay. So now we will move into the awards, recognitions, and presentations portion of our agenda. And Dr. Rogers, do you want to do the first introduction?
Yes, thanks, Ms. Sheffield. I'd like to introduce and ask the students that participated at state level in UIL academic competition. So these are some really bright kids that perform well and represent their schools. So I'd like to ask for Mr. Kaj, principal of Lewisville High School, to come up, and also Megan Yukin, who is the UIL sponsor at Flower Mound High School, to come up. Megan, you want to go first?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm not actually the UIL coordinator. I'm here on her behalf. She's Deborah Graber-Becker, and she is off grading AP tests, so she couldn't be here tonight, even though she really wanted to. And not all of our kids could be here tonight, which is a shame because some of them are on vacation. But she sent me an email of what she wanted me to say, so I'm good at nothing if not following orders, so here you go. UIL Academics offers one of the most comprehensive literary and academic competitive programs in the nation. Our students have been preparing since the beginning of the school year to compete in UIL meets at the district, regional, and state levels. This year, Flower Mound High School sent 8 students to the state meet to compete in number sense, mathematics, Lincoln Douglas debate, and accounting. These students have worked incredibly hard to reach this level of competition, and some of the students were returning competitors. FMHS had 3 students who attended state for the first time this year: Aditya Iswara, who's not here, Akshay Durvasula, and Riley Rhodes, who are both freshmen, which is a pretty impressive accomplishment. We had 3 who attended state for the second time: Hojae Jung, Leon Jacob, and Sai Purushothaman, and 2 who are returning to state for the 3rd year in a row: Aditya Durvasula and Niharika Koka. And I just want to brag about Aditya for a second, because not only did he win mathematics and number sense at district and region, he took 2nd in the state in in mathematics, and then took 6th in number sense. Other way around, 2nd in number sense, 6th in mathematics. I am the math coach. You would think I would know that. All right. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding competitors.
Ask if their parents are here where we can recognize them.
And I know their parents are here as well, and their parents have played an important role in this, so if you would please stand up so we could recognize you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Picture first.
Andrea Duncan, editor-in-chief of the Farmer Harvest for the last 2 years, qualified for state competition by winning first place in editorial and journalism writing at the district level, and then she won state at the regional level and qualified for state. She leads the Farmer Harvest, the editorial, the news writing team at Lewisville High School in several categories. Oh, I thought she was coming in. That's just Will Skelton. And the Farmer Harvest, if you don't know, is a state award-winning school website or newspaper, and it has been nominated for one of the top high school websites, newspapers in the state of, or in the North Texas area, the Dallas Morning News selection. So I'll make sure to share it with Andrea Duncan. She's not here.
All right. Thank you.
All right, and next we have our UIL State One Act Play competition. Is Missy Head here?
I am so excited about tonight because I get to present not one state championship, but 2. At the beginning of this year, 1,226 high schools entered the One Act Play contest hoping to advance to state. Both the Colony High School and Lewisville High School not only advanced to state, but they both won state. This is the first time in the history of UIL One Act Play that 2 schools have won a state competition. I'm standing in for Dwayne and Rhonda Craig, the directors of the Colony High School's play The Lost Boy. They are on vacation and are at a timeshare in Florida. but I would love to have the kids introduce themselves to you. At this time, I would like to recognize your parents and Mr. Hill, if you're here, their principal.
Come on up.
And thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let's get your picture in there.
And our 6A state champion in one at play, Lewisville High School, with Brad Durio, Laura McNary, Wendy Barrett, and Wendy Brozak, directors. And at this time, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Adrian Lee.
Hi, I'm Talon Cox.
I'm Nicole Small. Desiree Rubio.
Adrian Watson, Joshua Wallace.
And I'll just stand in for Wendy Barrett. And at this time, if the parents could stand, and also Mr. Kosh, and come have your picture made.
All right, and next we're moving on to softball. So is Mr. Coach Ford here? We're just spoiled. Yes. We're spoiled now. Like,
Come on in,
we're
ladies.
just we just expect state UIL all the time.
I have the privilege of introducing the Lewisville softball team. It's a great way to close out our athletic year. These girls have done just an excellent job getting where they were to be state runner-up. They have battled some weather conditions that nobody else, I don't think, has ever gone through, and they've done just an awesome job. I want to introduce Coach Alexander, and she'll introduce the team.
Okay, I'm going to announce our team. My two seniors, Gabby Vasquez and Summer Quiroga. Junior Tommy Goodman. Junior Maribeth Gorsuch. Junior Alicia Bell. Junior Lindsay French. Junior Nicole Nelson. Junior Emily Powers. Sophomore Michaela Corbin. Sophomore Katrina Jackson. Sophomore Kendra De La Rosa. Sophomore Kaylee Rodriguez. Sophomore Caitlin Godwin. Freshman Angel Espinosa. Freshman Taylor Grover. I almost forgot. Freshman Sonia Gutierrez. And my coaching staff, Coach Roper, Coach Albert, and our volunteer coach, Jack McCann. So with such a young team, you can see, hopefully we will make it back and bring back gold next year and not a silver. I'm very proud of these young ladies, and parents of these young ladies. We could not do that without you, so could you please stand? And thanks to Mr. Kosh and Ms. Flores for everything that they always do for us to keep us rolling, and all of our administration that's there to support us every night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Maybe 3 rows for a picture. Hey, Pam, why don't you come up?
Great job, ladies. Okay, next we'll move on to our Legos International Lego League competition. Dr. Rogers, are you doing the honors?
Well, I am. I'm sort of upset that I didn't get to wear a Batman costume. But it's my privilege. First off, I think Ms. Sandifer, the principal of Griffin, is here. We are so proud of the work that these groups have done. We created robotics in middle school 5-6 years ago, and it's just taken off. And so, what a great accomplishment! So, Ms. Sandifer and the team.
Point it down.
Congratulations.
They tried to give Matt the mask, but it didn't exactly work out. I don't know. I want to make sure that I get this out right, so I apologize in advance for reading. This is our Griffin robotics team. Miss Wanke down there is one of our sponsors. Guaria Robles could not be here with us tonight. But these folks, are these kids right here, because they really are kids, but they competed on an international level, and they competed with 400 other different campuses, homeschool, private school, and they came away with the ultimate trophy, first place, in innovation and strategy, which means they engineered and programmed a robot that outstood all of the other robots. So congratulations, you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Wonky so she can introduce her crew.
Okay. All right, well, we have these fabulous certificates from the board, so I'm just going to call the kiddos' names, and you guys come up and shake somebody's hand over here. Aiden Call.
Somebody. Batman. I forgot because we're Batman. Sorry. Just say that.
Oh, our team's name was Because We're Batman, so
Sorry. That was their motive.
it was the BWB. Sky Crawl. I'm not sure how we're doing this.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Trevin Lovelace.
Ben Murray.
Ben Murray.
Congratulations, Ben.
What's the order? We don't know.
Yeah, just
There you go, Ben.
John Savastano.
Oh, he's not here.
Okay.
We got two that didn't show.
Isaac.
Yep, that's the other.
Okay. Here we go.
So,
Justin Walker.
there we go. Justin Walker. Let's go that way.
Congratulations, Justin. Matt Wilson.
Matthew Wilson.
Congratulations. Thank you. Here we go. And last.
And last but not least, the captain of our team, Hunter Fulton.
Hunter, how are you doing? Oh, my
You
goodness.
recognize him, that masked
We
man.
have, is there one more?
That's him.
Fernando.
Oh, Fernando. Oh, I'm sorry, Fernando Yazzie. I'm sorry, Fernando.
We'll have to find you.
Hunter was the captain.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was him. All right. Thank you.
Picture. And parents? If you're a parent of one of these Batmen, or could you please stand? Amber. Mr.
And then last tonight, we have our state scholarship championship. Robin Fry. There she is.
It is my honor to introduce the Arbor Creek Middle School Archery State Champions. This is Coach Dan Mannering, and he is the outdoor ed teacher. And I think you have typically about 20 to 30 kids in your class that went to the competition. These are the few that braved coming out to the school board meeting, and they actually braved going to the competition during the ice storm of March the 5th, 2015. Who would have thought that? So Joni Finch is our principal at Arbor Creek Middle School. And Mr. Mannering, you want to introduce your group? And any parents that are here that are with our students, please stand up so we can recognize you. And I know that this Arbor Creek typically goes to state competition, and this year you took first place over Lamar, who last year took first place. So congratulations. This was a big feat.
that was fun. Okay, next we will move into our open forum section of the meeting. Persons desiring to address the Board of Trustees must fill out a speaker's card prior to the meeting. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes. The board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included on the agenda, as has become our practice. And just as a reminder, for those who come to speak, you will receive a response back from the district in a timely manner in reply to your comments or concerns or questions. We have one speaker for tonight, and that is Ms. Julie Kluth. If you'd like to come forward.
I'm Julie Cluthy. I'm a parent at Donald Elementary as well as Forest Wood Middle School. Initially, I was skeptical about how young children might benefit from the 1 to X program, but it started to click for me one night early on when I told my kids that the International Space Station was about to travel over Flower Mound. They immediately grabbed their iPads, and my first grader pulled up her compass app so we would know exactly where to look. Once we spotted it, they took some video. After it disappeared over the horizon, my third grader pulled up a brain pop video about how the space station was sent up in pieces and assembled in space. Then they watched a video by astronaut Chris Hadfield about the heavy-duty barf bags they use in space. It was fun to see the kids self-motivated and excited about learning. The 1 to X program has been done well at our elementary school, and my own kids have benefited from it. And so I was disappointed to learn that the program will be discontinued for grades 1 to 3. I do have a few questions about this decision. First, what was the goal of the pilot program? What were the established standards that would determine success? What was the timeline to meet those objectives? Cost and equitability were given as the reasons to discontinue the pilot program, but these were surely factors that were known and approved when the program began, correct? Second, parents were told that the district has completed continual reviews of the 1 to X program. What was the nature of these reviews? How was it determined that it is optimal for student learning to begin the program with 4th grade? Finally, is it necessary that changes happen across the board, or are you willing to look at pockets within the district that have strong community support and that have put forth effort to implement the program successfully? Donald has hosted tours for school districts from across the region that are interested in our model. And Alan November touted it as among the best he's seen in his global travels as an educational technology expert. Dr. Rogers, in exploring the idea of specialized academies within the high schools, recently said that, quote, "We believe that students and their families must have choices when selecting their educational experience," end of quote. Why not extend this value to 1 to X at the elementary level, particularly when we have other specialized programming like dual language, as well as open enrollment? I look forward to your response. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Before we get started on the meeting part of our agenda, we have had some discussion just about just information about how boards work and what happens at our meetings. So I just wanted to give you a little some additional information. So the Lewisville ISD Board of Trustees meets monthly in a regular meeting to receive reports from staff and take action on recommendations from the superintendent. The board receives the agenda and all supporting documentation approximately 10 days in advance of regular meetings, which allows us to ask and receive answers to many of our questions before the regular meeting. As a board, we should have appropriate knowledge and preparation for responses regarding the content of our meeting tonight. This is a little bit of a change in how we've done things in the past in terms of receiving our agendas that far in advance. And that translates sometimes in the fact that lengthy discussion or a litany of questions on every item of the agenda is often not necessary. Bring this up simply as a point of information because sometimes it can be confusing as to why there's not more discussion. So we are now moving into the information section of our agenda. These are items that are brought forward. Some will be for information only. Some will move forward to discussion in the next month. So the first thing up is our strategic design update. Dr. Brockman.
Good evening, and this is an information-only item this evening. I'm going to ask Ms. Snively and her group to begin preparing. Last year at this time, again, it was the June board meeting last year, we presented just an overview of our bright spots and recognized our winners for the year. So we wanted to do that again this year. Ms. Snively works in the professional learning department and marshals this effort, but she certainly is not the only one that works on this project.
So before I introduce everyone who works on this project, I'm just going to give a brief overview from the beginning. As Lewisville ISD began the Strategic Design Initiative, district leaders recognized a need for visual documentation to highlight our district's goals and beliefs in action. The Strategic Design and Action website provides a digital storehouse of information, images, resources, and a real-time Twitter feed. Our website is maintained by the following team members. Dana Henderson is over here on the computers for us. Jennifer Culver, Deanna McKinley, Jane Germany, she's not here this evening, Lori English, Stephanie Lawson, Alex Kixmiller, also not present, and myself, Tammy Snively. So in addition to collecting evidence, this website also recognizes staff by awarding Bright Spots. The Bright Spot Award is a vehicle for celebrating and replicating innovative efforts in our district. Over the last 2 years, we have awarded Bright Spots to 5 campuses, 4 departments, 9 teachers, and 1 administrator. Out of these awards, 9 have been given at the secondary level and 8 have been given at the elementary level. It's also been amazing to see that the awards have been distributed. We have a map up here, a Google map that shows all of our awards. 5 awards have been given in the East Zone, 6 in the Central Zone, and 6 in the West Zone. Anyone can nominate a Bright Spot. Bright Spots have been nominated by community members, assistant principals, teachers, principals, and other district administrators. We're about to watch a 1-minute video that shows the bright spots that were highlighted in the 2014-2015 school year. After the video, I will give a short description of each bright spot. So our first Bright Spot of the year was in October, and it was given to 5th grade Forest Vista teacher Brian Bigley. Mr. Bigley has created an innovative environment which allowed his 5th grade students to experience historical events through simulations. His students experienced the challenges and opportunities in history, making the work more meaningful and relevant in his engaging classroom. In November, our Bright Spot Award went to Central Elementary School for their STEM collaborative. Central Elementary School partnered with the CCA for a 3-day event that featured STEM interactive learning experiences. The following community members shared the responsibility in coordinating this Youth in Motion event and established ongoing partnerships with the school: CoServe Charitable Foundation, Lewisville Morning Rotary, SciTech Discovery Center, and the Texas Motor Speedway. In December, our award went to a library media specialist at Old Settlers. Whitney Jones sought out ways to make the Old Settlers Library and School a flexible and innovative environment for all staff and students. She designed their first global collaborative experience, which was International Dot Day. She made the library a rich and robust environment by providing opportunities for the students to Skype, blog, and create in their makerspace. In January, the award went to College Street Elementary School for their Leader in Me process. Centered around the 7 habits of happy kids, the Leader in Me allowed the staff at College Street to nurture leadership skills in their students. Incorporated into every aspect in their curriculum, the Leader in Me has empowered their students to use their strengths to contribute to their home, their school, and their community. In February, the Bright Spot went to Career Center East teacher Stanley Feeney. Mr. Feeney's engaging and innovative engineering class shared valuable robotics knowledge and inspired elementary students from across the district in preparations for a local robotics competition. His CCE student experts taught the elementary students how to build, code, and practice in an arena built by his students. Mr. Feeney stated that this collaboration is part of building up this generation. In March, the bright spot went to Lamar Middle School. The teachers at Lamar Middle School have embraced the use of project-based learning, which increased engagement, required higher-level thinking, and transformed instruction at Lamar. The Lamar Middle School students stated that as a result of these experiences, they improved their work ethic in all classes, learned to ask deeper, more meaningful questions, and enjoyed interacting with the community members. In April, the award went to the DeLay Middle School 6th grade math and science teams. These teachers worked collaboratively this year to design lessons that focused on standards, deepened rigor, appealed to different learners, and provided many opportunities for formative assessments. In order to provide content at home and at the students' own pace, the science teachers flipped their classrooms, which allowed that students could fully understand the concepts even at home. The 6th grade math and science teams have transformed student instruction and learning at DeLay, and the DeLay students have achieved at a higher standard than ever before. Our final bright spot for the year went to DeGan Elementary School, their Club Friday Camp team. This team consists of their computer, art, music, and PE teachers, as well as their library and media specialists. These folks have led the way as innovators by creating design clubs for students to attend during what they call Club Fridays. They have pushed the standards to include 21st century skills and college readiness skills, where students are using higher level concepts and strategies to solve real world problems. Club Fridays have allowed a safe and flexible learning environment for both the students attending clubs of their choice and for the core content teachers, who are then allowed time to work together to design learning within their PLCs. Congratulations to all of our 2014-2015 bright spots. You have inspired us all to continue to do the work we have set out to do. Thank you for your hard work and commitment to our students. We are a great district because of the work that you do.
Could we have all of our bright spot recipients up to the front so that we can take a picture and just recognize you up here so that everybody can look at you and appreciate you?
I will say that on the website for each of the bright spots, there is a video that people can see and then link to those teachers or administrators to ask questions. The video links were not live on Board Book, so I sent you a separate item with the links. The videos are great.
And we need all the, if you're a principal, yeah. You cannot hide in the back. Thank you all. We really do appreciate just you go the extra mile to do those things that will engage our students and make learning real, and we just thank you so much. Okay. Oh, next is our last legislative agenda update until the next time around. Ms. Hassett.
Under your wonderful suggestion, I have tried to correlate the bills that actually passed that correlated to our priorities. It will be fast. Yeah. Local control we had as one of ours, and really nothing passed on that one except I put this under there. HB 1706, it requires that they eliminate duplicate reports that the district has to do. So they have to go through all the reports that we're required to submit, and they're going to eliminate the duplicates. So that's something good that they did. Adequate school funding. Wah, wah, wah. Of course, HB 1759 was pulled, so we never got to really discuss it. There were a few small bills, and I have to admit, most of these bills I haven't yet read the final version because there were changes after Senate and House, and so I don't know the exact final version yet. Thank you. House Bill 2812, I'm hoping would provide us some funding for off-campus students. So we need to read that more thoroughly, but I'm hoping we can get some virtual school network or some other type funding for some of our other, which would be lovely. Instructional materials allotment, we did not get more money, but we did get it switched from annual to biannual allotment, which will help us hopefully able to use the money better and more thoroughly. Senate Bill 455 under school finance. There was this bill that made a special 3-judge district court instead of a single-judge district court, which was probably, it's going to be retroactive for any particular cases that might be hanging out there currently, aka our school finance. So now there's a 3-district court because they didn't like the 1 judge. So that's fun. Senate Bill 1760 was a finance bill. Had a lot of stuff in it. A couple of things that particularly pertain to us. One, I thought it was a fairly good idea, actually, that if we had to have the effective, wanted to change the effective tax rate, we had to have at least 60% of a governing body an approval. Made sense. Another one that's going to affect us if we want to have on a ballot to ratify school taxes, it has to state the purpose of the new tax on the notices and on the election. And people are going to be very confused with all of that wording, so that should go over like a lead balloon. Revenue and tax. I'm hoping this would help some of the tax appraisals we have. House Bill 2083, they now have to use generally accepted appraisal methods, whatever that means, but it wasn't currently in the wording. So hopefully those little words will help some of the appraisals that are out there, in particular some of the bigger businesses that get discounts that others don't. Support public school teachers. We got no movement really on the TRS. There was one bill, I have not read it, and it's gigantic, but the only thing I do remember about the bill is it creates a committee, hopefully that's a good committee, to study and review the health benefits plan, including the TRS Care, TRS Active. So maybe that will hopefully be a good thing when they actually review, but I'm not sure the makeup of the committee. Accountability and assessment. We had a lot of bills filed, very few actually made it out at all. We did have one for the consortium, and it's a giant bill as well, but it also has another, it adds participants to the consortium. It's a wording for the bill, but it doesn't really do a whole lot extra. Which one is that? Oh, Senate Bill 149. Woot woot. And our staff has done a phenomenal job with the students that we had to do, that we could help with Senate Bill 149 this year. So I want to thank the staff very, very much for all their hard work. That was the bill that created the graduation committee. So that passed. House Bill 2804. I liked some of these, and I didn't like some of these. It had a lot. These were the A to F inclusion. It had a few other things, but it has the 5 domains, and it passed, and it's a giant bill, so it's going to take a while to really go through how this is actually going to affect us. And plus, it's got stages of this one is implemented this year, and this is implemented next year, and that should be fun. The 2017. passed before, pre-kindergarten. Passed, also a very big bill. One thing I did like in that it says that it can't use Common Core state standards because they're testing kindergartners in Common Core state standards. So I like that it was actually included in the bill because we don't want any of that. Did they what? Partially funding. It's a partially funded mandate. And actually, I don't even think they're giving us $1,500 per student, but doesn't it cost $6? How many hours are for?
No, that's like for kindergarten.
For pre-K.
Pre-K, I think it's about 4.
4. So they don't even give us half. Per half day. We don't have enough. House Bill 743. It had a review of the TEKS. That this was a bigger bill, which I think is we need to have a review of the TEKS. We just want to make sure that when we do review those TEKS that it doesn't resemble anything else that might be going on in the country. House Bill 1164, trying to be PC about this. House Bill 1164. It was the wonderful one. It was the one that was going to do away with the writing. And the House made a wonderful bill, and the Senate altered it a smidgen or completely and 1,000% changed it. That's when now they're going to develop a writing assessment because they can develop that, and we know nothing. House Bill 16, that was not. There's a few other long bills, but digital learning is another area that we tried to do, and they gave us diddly squat. Charters, they had a few movements in charters, but nothing major on charters, so I thought that was good. One other thing that I thought, TASB was asking for resolutions for next year. I was thinking we should submit all of our resolutions that got no traction whatsoever to TASB as from our district. So that's one thing I was thinking for. And I also want to tell everybody I'm trying, and I haven't yet. It's a long list. I'm making a spreadsheet of all the bills that passed and how our representatives and senators voted on all the bills, but it's taking a while to go through. But I thought we should maybe know that. So,
along these same lines, we had put some effort together to putting together a spreadsheet that listed all of the unfunded mandates that we have, whether it's state unfunded or federal unfunded. Have we fine-tuned that? Because I really think that's something we should share with our representatives. And I think it should be on our website too, because I don't think the public really understands all of the mandates that we're given from the state and the federal government that aren't funded.
we gave those to all the representatives when we went down for the TASB, and when I went up to D.C., I also handed it to Dr. Burgess while I was up there, but I don't know if it's on the website.
Dr. Brockman, do you know, are those on our website? I know we provided it to the representatives, but if not, we'll make sure that they are. And of course, the state continues to add to that list.
Well, and I think to Ms. Latham's point, I think it would be interesting because you're right. Prior to the session, we handed our list of unfunded mandates, but then to kind of recap for this session, here's you can do the total, but then also here's what came out of this session. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the special ed, right? Special ed cameras. Well, even pre-K. I mean, that's not it. Right. So, okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Hassett. I do appreciate all your work that you've put into keeping us informed on what's been happening in Austin, and look forward to we've kind of set on to an initiative to keep the legislative advocacy going, even though session's not in that we're going to continue to meet with our legislators and have those discussions, and just to continue to inform and educate. And so when we get our website updated, I think that will be helpful information to have there as well. Okay, next up we have our update from LEF. Dr. Brockman, do you want to introduce?
Yes, tonight we're going to receive our update from Mr. Andy Eads.
Well, good evening. It's great to be here tonight. I'm Andy Eads, and I'm the president-elect of the Lewisville Education Foundation. And we have two of our LEF family with us today. We have Connie Pelfrey, our executive director. Thank you, Connie, for being here. And we have Reggie Johnson, one of our board members. I'd like to give you a quick update. And before I do, I just want to say thank you to the district for allowing us to do these quarterly updates. I think it's good to continue our formal dialogue at these sessions, and for the viewing audience at home to get to see the good things that we're up to as we partner together to help our district. I thought it was great last week. We hosted the welcome reception to Dr. Rogers over at LHS. We had a great turnout, and our LAF board was so excited to have such a great welcome event for him here to the district in his new position. And I think I did a great job in selecting him as a finalist. If you'll look on your sheet here, I will tell you that we had a record number of scholarships awarded this year. We had 226 scholarships awarded in the month of May for a total of $151,850 to our outgoing seniors, and that's just a great accomplishment. We couldn't do it without the partnership of the community and the district. And if you'll notice on the chart there that it's really spread throughout the district, and we're really trying to make sure that it's geographically diverse across all of our feeder patterns, and I think we're really doing a great job in making sure that those kids know about the programs and know how to apply and use the module on the website and get in the system for the scholarships they so deserve. I will tell you that we have a full staff at LEF. We're very pleased to announce we have Jennifer Rodriguez, and she's our new office administrator, and she has a real great skill set, which we really needed, which is some accounting and bookkeeping, and we're able to bring some of those functions that we were previously contracting out of the agency into the department, and so that'll be a real cost savings to us. We welcome Jennifer to our LEF family. I will like to invite you to mark your calendars for September the 12th. 2015 for our Hilton Garden Inn event, which is our fork and pencil, and that's just a lot of fun as we raise money for our student scholarships and our teacher grants here at the district, and it's a great mix and mingle with live music and dancing and everything that goes along with that. So please mark your calendar, and we will have on our lisdef.com website later this summer, we'll be able to have a place on there for you to go ahead and buy your tickets online. Lastly, I would like to mention our employee giving campaign, which will kick off on August the 17th. And I will tell you, it's great as we track each year the number of teachers and employees that give out of their paycheck. They don't have to. They give voluntarily, and I think that's a special sacrifice, and we honor that, and we really appreciate that. And we like to watch and track each one of our campuses, and it's great to see how those have expanded in numbers and in percentages as teachers and staff and administration gives to our employee giving campaign. So anyway, if there's any questions, welcome to entertain those.
I don't have a question, but I would like to point out that is probably the most clear chart I have ever seen.
This one?
The giving. It was brilliant.
The scholarships.
Oh, the scholarships. Yes. Cinnamon
that
did
is very clear.
You like that?
Yes. So whoever made that
Cinnamon
report,
Diltz, if you're watching.
That was genius, Cinnamon. Thank you.
All right, good. All right. Thank you, Brenda.
Are there any other questions, comments? Well, thank you. We appreciate all LEF does for our district, and I encourage everyone to come to the Fork and Pencil because it is just an awesome event. Lots of fun. Okay. Next on our agenda, Dr. Brockman, want to talk to us about community-based accountability?
Yes. And while I start, if Reggie Johnson and Dr. Sarah Fitzhugh would go ahead and come up be walking to the podium. We embarked on a journey this winter to put together a community-based accountability, or what we're affectionately calling the dashboard, together. We looked at a number of factors. We started with some informal conversation electronically. We met face-to-face. We met virtually through the weather challenges we had this spring. If we turn to the next slide. Thank you. I'm going to let Reggie talk a little bit about the process and the participants.
Actually, the process was a very easy process. For those of you who hadn't had a chance to take part in something like this, it was very easy. Dr. Brockman did a wonderful job of facilitating that entire process. Like it says there, we had about 30 participants, broken down from teachers, parents, to people in the community. And we were able to very quickly gather all that information out of all those small groups, put it up on white paper on boards. When we came back to the next meeting, everything that we talked about was concise, and the information that we needed to go forward was there for us. So it was a very fun process. I think we did a wonderful job of coming up with great ideas, and like I said, Dr. Brockman did a wonderful job facilitating that entire process.
Thank you. I'll pay you for that later. We did take the opportunity, once we had worked through several group processes to get to a draft, to then expand, and we put that draft in front of the LEF board, because that's a great group to run things through, as well as our community strategic design team, and then they added additional pieces for our consideration. We did start the whole process with the question of, what do people need to know about LISD? And it generated a very long list that we're going to be able to work off of, both in communications pieces as well as the dashboard for years to come. So if you could go to the next slide. We ended up with some general categories of data, and you saw this in your background information, so I'm not going to go into all of the details. But general information, student information about academics, student information about talents and programs, partnerships, staff information, really mostly about teachers, as well as finance. And Dr. Fitz, you can talk a little bit about the data. She was my partner through this whole process.
So basically, one of the things that we really looked at is what data do we have now, and how do we align the data with what's produced by TEA. We don't want to put conflicting numbers out there. So we really tried hard to link our pieces with what exists, as well as look at what we need to develop in the future. So one of our hopes is that we're going to be able to get those pieces that exist now out in the dashboard quickly and continue to work in developing some of the other pieces in these areas.
So an example of something that's not, that was desired but isn't quite there yet, is under student information and academics. The committee really thought we needed to make sure we really publicized what endorsements were offered, and then in another couple of years, the number of students earning those various endorsements. Obviously, we don't have that information now, but we can be preparing for that in the future. We also looked at when do we want to inform using trends over time, and when do we want to inform just using a current number. I will say that we have a small group that's working on a lot of these data pieces. David Kuntz, Sarah Fitzhugh, Kathy Bray, myself, as well as Nick Rooney from Communications, really looking at where's the data coming from and what is it going to look like. So our next steps, we're completing our review of requested data and possible sources for the data. Again, as Dr. Fitzhugh mentioned, making sure that we're not putting conflicting data out there, because we will also be linking to things. So one of the things that we're required to put on our website is the annual TAPR report. So we will link to that report from this site. We need to make sure that we don't have conflicting information. We're also finalizing an update schedule. When do we get new data? What data would need to be refreshed on this month or this month? When do we get these scores? When do we get this scholarship information? And kind of building out that schedule. And then designing the website, and Nick Rooney has already begun work on that with a planned launch in August. We chose August as the planned launch. One, that's when people are really trafficking our website, if you will, but also that's when we're going to have the most amount of freshest data. We don't want to put something out now and then change it in 6 weeks. So what questions do you have?
Ms. Vaughn?
Did the committee talk at all about noting volunteers, PTAs, that kind of info?
Under the partnerships, which was an area that was really explored kind of a little later in the process. We looked at how students and the district give back, but also those that partner with the district, whether it be PTAs, volunteers, businesses that partner, and measuring the growth in those partnerships.
I'm not sure if we could do this, but I know there are other districts that keep track of volunteer hours somehow, and then it shows how much money the district has saved based on those volunteer hours. But I don't know if we have the infrastructure for that, but something to think about.
That is something we actually had quite a bit of conversation about. How might we do that? What capacity we might have currently? What system we could tweak to make that more available? So you may not see it in August, but it's in the works.
Ms. Hassett, you had a question?
I had a question. Is there going to be a district dashboard and then individual school dashboards? And how would the information in those differ? Would the district information just be district, or would you have a summary of the high schools within? I mean, how would the dashboard? I guess my concern for any high-level dashboard is that if you look at the student information, my fear is that some high schools might look on paper better than others, when I do not think that's the case. I think we have rock stars on all our campuses. So my fear is to make sure that we don't put an appearance out there or endorsements. I don't want to make sure that one campus is this type of endorsement and another campus is that type of an endorsement.
Absolutely. Understand that concern completely. We've actually had quite a bit of conversation about that, and what we're launching in August is district, a district look. Where we go from there, we'll continue the conversation, but that's what we're launching in August. We don't want to set up competition where there doesn't need to be, or conflict when there doesn't need to be.
For things like graduation rate, are you going to do it based on number within that school or percentage? Because that it might look differently depending upon the size of the school too. So,
Dr. Fitzy, what did we decide on graduation rate? Because we talked about two options.
Well, on the TAPR, there's a 4-year, a 5-year, a 6-year rate. And so what we talked about going with, because it would be the most accurate and recent, is the 4-year rate, because that gets the most recent class information out there. If you go with a 5-year, right now we're stuck at the class of 2012. Well, that's really old data. So we're going to try to keep it as recent as possible, but linked to what the state has produced.
Any other questions? No? Thank you for your work on this. We're so excited.
Thank you both for helping tonight. We're looking forward to launching in August, and I will tell you, when Mr. Rooney was showing me the first few pieces of data and how it could look, it looks really good.
Very good. And it's going to have a prominent place on our website, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so Dr. Brockman, you can just continue, because next we have our board policy update, 102.
All right. Policy update 102, just when we thought we were finished. Policy is the gift that keeps on giving. What I have brought for you today really is an information-only item, because I only brought the legal policies. The local policy recommendations we're going to fold into our work of the policy audit, which begins next week, and you'll start seeing those things rolling out late summer, early fall. So we're just going to incorporate it there, rather than having a line of update that's 102 and a line of things that need to be approved through the audit. Update 102 really addresses recent changes in state and federal law, amendments to the Texas Administrative Code on special education services, community and student engagement, community-based fine arts programs. TASB Policy Service also engaged an outside law firm with expertise in bond issues and investments to conduct a periodic review of the policies that deal with investments and bonds to make sure that they were up to date and aligned. And then another significant change in Update 102 is a reorganization of the DE series of policies addressing compensation to focus the series as the primary component. And that's really where most of the local adjustments were coming from, was out of DE that you'll be seeing later. So quickly, I will just give the really high blush review, because you have all this detail, and it will be updated on our policy website. Obviously, it starts with a cross index, which they haven't updated in some time. It's a very handy index of policies, a really good search feature, but keep in mind, please, that it's generic, and just because it's listed in the index doesn't mean we have a local policy for that particular letter. There are things that were in AIB legal that had to do with local performance and compliance reporting, and this will link beautifully to the House Bill 5 piece you'll see in a few minutes. That's how long it takes some of this policy work to catch up. Also talking about federal guidelines and federal report cards for Title I schools. There are things having to do with board members and realigning some references to be appropriate to the right code, bond issues, investments, again, revisions to the policy. Some of these things you look at and go, well, we've been doing that for a long time. Yes, it's just kind of updating the policy to match what we're doing. Of course, the D series in DE with the personnel and compensation has to do with the compensation plan, stipends, wage and hour laws, expense reimbursement. So sometimes it's deleting old code references that don't apply anymore. Sometimes it's reflecting new changes in federal state guidelines. Sometimes there are things that don't really apply to us. If you look at DHE legal with the alcohol and drug testing of employees, that doesn't really apply to most of what we do. It's still in legal policy. There were a number of adjustments to legal policies dealing with special education following State Board of Education rules and commissioner rules effective January 1st of this year. ARD committee makeup, IEPs, transition services, some procedural requirements, things we have in place. The policy is catching up with us. Graduation, EIF legal deals with community-based fine arts programs as well as, again, special education students because it was feeding in there. The academic guidance program, EJ legal, is referencing back to information that has to be shared with parents under House Bill 5. Again, something we're already doing, it's just catching up. And then a piece on charter campuses or programs. And then some attendance cleanup on compulsory attendance accounting, and then student discipline for students with disabilities. These are all policies that are automatically updated by TASB. We do not approve them at the local level, but wanted you to have them for your reference.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Brockman. Yes, Ms. Cox.
Not really a question. I just want to make a comment on one of the ones. I know these are legal, but EJ legal on page 172 of the board book addressed that about implementing district improvement plan. A district shall notify students in middle school, junior high school, and high school, and those student teachers, school counselors, and parents of a Texas grant and the Teach for Texas grant programs, eligibility requirements for each program, the need for students to make informed curriculum choices to be prepared for success beyond high school, and sources of information on higher education admissions and financial aid. So just my comment's going to be is, how is this going to be done, and then are we going to have enough staff to implement that?
That's actually done through our counselors and our guidance staff as part of the information that the other pieces of information on endorsements and those benefits of the different endorsements is required to go to parents each year as outlined in House Bill 5. So how the counselors have chosen to schedule that out, I'm not sure.
I think the answer to Ms. Cox's question, however, is, we don't necessarily have the staff to accomplish what was laid out in the legal policy and really in House Bill 5. I would consider it an unfunded mandate because the requirements that they've now put on counselors is significant.
Well, there's a way to distribute information that's complies with the letter of the requirement. And then there's a way to share the information that's meaningful for parents and students. And meaningful requires staff. And yes, unfunded mandate.
Okay, thank you. All right, Dr. Riddell, House Bill 5 ratings.
Dr. Fitzhugh is going to visit with you about this.
Good evening again. Tonight I am bringing you our second round. Last year we did our first ratings for House Bill 5 rating, and this is our second year. And so you have in your board packet our actual rating sheets, so you can see those. Just a quick update, reminder, House Bill 5 requires us to rate each campus and the district in 8 areas. And we also have to give an overall rating. And then we also have to say if our campuses in the district is in compliance. So the spreadsheet that you have in front of you lists out all of those pieces. This year, the biggest change that we made was we incorporated a survey of the community. We sent out emails soliciting responses back, and it was a question for each area. And people sent in their responses. We tabulated it, and we combined it into the district's rating. So at the bottom of your spreadsheet, you'll see where it says the district final rating. That has those survey responses as well as all of the campuses' responses combined together to give us our ratings. We've also pulled out what the survey responses were below, so you can see that as well. We had 3,230 responses. I didn't calculate a percentage because the math nerd in me was not very happy with what my denominator options were, since we sent out survey invitations, but people responded from the community using that link, so I couldn't really decide what my total was, and I was not happy with the percentage. So it was 3,230 responses. I'm just a very technical person, so I'm just going to lay that out right now. At this time, do y'all have any questions for me, comments?
Any questions? No. Thank you. All right. Dr. Rogers, our next item.
Yes, Ms. Sheffield, we are bringing to your attention that we need to change 2 board meeting dates for this next year. The first one is due to a holiday on October 12th, and the second one is in May. We're recommending changing the board meeting to May 23rd, where that would be after the elections, and the election vote could be canvassed, and then swear in a new member or existing member.
Thank you. You're next again.
Yes, every year we just for information only provide external PE report, participation report. So I'm going to ask that Robin Fry, who's our director of PE and health, come up and the overview.
Call me director. Does that mean I got a raise? I just got promoted? Wow, I like that.
Never mind.
Okay. Well, Strategic Design Goal 5 says that we will continuously involve our diverse community, staff, and students to use their strengths, resources, and values to provide engaging, innovative experiences for all learners. And I think external PE is a shining example of that, because we are allowing our students, middle school and high school students, to participate in physical activities that they enjoy, that's their choice, that they want to continue to be competitive in at either a level 1 or a level 2 activity. We currently have 13 different courses that they can choose from. We have over 200 vendors where they can go and experience either level 1 or level 2. We have 582 students at this time, which is up 40 this year, and I really feel like it's going to be a lot more next year. Deborah McDonald is our external PE monitor. She was unable to be here today, but she has done a wonderful job communicating with our counselors and with the vendors, letting them know the requirements, application deadlines. We've now established a deadline for August the 1st for any new vendors. We do have a procedure for that. And then, of course, we have background checks that we have to have for our facility teachers, the coaches there. But the counselors did a wonderful job of promoting this during registration time. So she's been inundated, so she's taking a vacation right now. And then she will come back early because I'm sure everybody else will scramble in right before school starts to decide to do something like rock climbing or taekwondo or whatever they feel necessary that they'd rather do. That it's a choice for them. So. Other than that, the only other change we definitely made a digital, she talked with Nick Rooney, and he created a digital report card for our vendors, because at the time we were just having kids bring back a piece of paper, and we felt that we needed to make sure we were accountable for that piece and that everyone was getting a 9-week grade. So honestly, nothing has really changed from previous years. Do y'all have any questions?
Any comments, questions? No? Can you explain the level 1 and level 2?
Yes, ma'am. Level 1 is a student gets to leave either for high school, it would be first period or fourth period, one class a day, because they are participating in 15 hours or more a week in that activity. Level 2 would be 5 hours or more, but they do not leave school. They don't miss a class. We 0 hour those students in the schedule so that it shows up and then they get a grade as well.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks. All right, Dr. Burnett, budget amendments?
Thank you, Ms. Sheffield and members of the board. We have, as has been our custom and practice, to bring you budget amendments as an information item, followed by action on them the following month. These two budget amendments that we'll be asking for action on before the end of the fiscal year are two flow-through, both revenue and expenditures. One in the general operating budget is the TRS on behalf, which we recognize the revenue that the state sends us, and then recognize the expense as we send it back to TRS. The other one is related to our bond refunding that we just completed. One is a revenue, one is an expense.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Burnett, do you also want to talk to us about meal prices?
The district obviously participates in the National School Lunch Program, and as part of that, we're subject to the regulations of the United States Department of Agriculture. They have a technique by which they analyze your cost of your meals and then provide a requirement that you increase your food prices by a certain amount. And at this point, I'd like to invite Gina with Aramark to come forward and give you a little more information about that. I know that food prices are always a concern, but this action, which is similar to actions that have occurred in the past, does not affect students who receive either a free lunch or a reduced price lunch. It only affects the charges to the students who buy their lunch.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. Yes, that's correct. Each year we're required to utilize a tool called the Paid Lunch Equity Tool, which basically we put in pricing, and using a calculator provided by the USDA, it determines if we need to raise our prices on the National School Lunch Program. This year our price increase will be 5 cents. Our new prices will be $2.35 for elementary lunch, $2.60 for secondary lunch, and $3.55 for our Pizza Hut premium reimbursable meal. The price on that is higher due to the national brand and our relationship with Pizza Hut. But again, like Dr. Burnett said, a student who is free or reduced is not affected by that price. That's a paid-only price. Additionally to the National School Lunch Program, we also assessed our breakfast program and have determined it's time for a price increase there as well. And our new price for the fall will be $1.25 on student-paid breakfast. Again, this does not affect students who are free, reduced. Any students that are in a campus that has breakfast in the classroom, even if they're a paid student, there's still a universal free program that we offer. And then also we do have one campus that is universally free based on 80% of the campus population being qualifying for free and reduced. So those students are not affected. So overall, the price increase on breakfast affects a very minimal amount of students, and you all have those statistics there. Adult prices for lunch will not increase for this upcoming school year, but breakfast will be required to increase also due to required calculations for USDA about how we price adult meals. Thank you.
Any questions? So this is it's a non-negotiable increase, correct?
Yes, it's a requirement to participate in the program.
Okay, thank you. All right, and Dr. Burnett, our cooperative interlocal agreement renewals.
Each year we bring you the list of the purchasing co-ops that we're a part of. You have that information, and I'd invite Mr. Martin to come forward and speak to this item as well.
Good evening, President Sheffield, members of the board, Dr. Rogers. This is just an information-only item, would only be brought this month, unless discussion and further discussion. It's just a list of cooperatives that we purchased through the state. It does provide a list of what fees LIST has paid, which is $200, fees that the vendors would have to pay to the cooperative, and then any rebates we may receive required by law.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
What? Yeah, I know. You need another binder. All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we're moving on to our discussion items. Dr. Burnett.
You have our the monthly financials. They are this report is through April the 30th, which is 2/3 of the way through the fiscal year, and we're tracking the way we would expect. Our expenses are lagging behind our revenues, which is a good place to be.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Dr. Burnett? Okay, thank you. All right, next we will move into our action items. Would someone like to make a motion for our first item?
Make a motion to consider approval of board-adopted rules for electronic bids and proposals.
Thank you, Ms. Latham. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. It's a motion by Ms. Latham, a second by Ms. Cox. Is there discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, are we ready for a vote? All right, all those in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, do I have a motion for item number 2?
I motion to consider approval of the resolution to sell right-of-way property to the Town of Flower Mound Sagebrush Drive Improvement Project.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Do I have a second? Second. Oh, who was that? Okay, I'll take Ms. Timish. It was a motion by Ms. Hassett, a second by Ms. Timish. And is there discussion on this item? Okay. And Ms. Cox has asked to recuse herself because of professional involvement with her business. Okay. If there's no further discussion, we're ready for the vote. All those in favor? And that is, that's Ms. Vaughn, Ms. Timish, Ms. Hassett, Ms. Sheffield, and Ms. Latham with Ms. Cox recusing herself. All right. And do I have a motion for our next item?
I motion to consider approval of the district improvement plan.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. It's a motion by Ms. Hassett, a second by Ms. Vaughn. Is there any discussion? Any questions, comments? No? Okay. What? Oh, yes, it was a lot of work. All those in favor? Okay, and that also is unanimous. Do I have a motion for item number 4?
I move that we consider approval of Apple products and services DIR SDD 2068.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Latham. Motion by Ms. Vaughn, a second by Ms. Latham. Is there discussion on this item? Okay. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Do I have a motion for item number 5?
I make a motion to consider approval of compensation increase for all eligible employees.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Latham. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett. That is a motion by Ms. Latham, a second by Ms. Hassett. I believe there will be discussion.
Yeah, that's why I made the motion, so I'd like to speak to
Yes,
my motion
Ms.
first.
Latham.
I'm kind of confused why this is even on the agenda, because at our board workshop, we still had a lot of questions outstanding, and there were several comments made that we didn't want to consider an increase until we had a lot of our questions around the budget ironed out and we had a more firm budget. And in this agenda item itself, now we have to decide on an increase. And when I talked to Dr. Rogers earlier about this, my example is when we're at home, we don't write a check and hope there's money in the bank. Well, some people do, but they go to jail for it. So I just think that we need to postpone this, and if necessary, we'll have a special board meeting to consider just this item, or postpone this till August. I won't be supporting this.
Ms. Cox?
I have to agree with Ms. Latham. I feel like when we talked in the meeting, if we can give a higher increase to our teachers and staff, I want to be able to do that. But I can't make a decision tonight based on some of the needs, the unfunded mandates, and the specifically what I talked about having the right classroom teacher ratio, so we don't have to do the waivers. That's real important to me. So I don't feel like I can make an executive decision and when I could maybe do an increase of more.
Are there other comments?
What would waiting until August to make a decision happen? What would that?
Waiting until August to make a decision has us in jeopardy of losing good candidates as our competing districts are passing compensation increases this month. As previously mentioned, most districts are making their move this month, talking about a 3%. We know of one neighboring district that has gone with a 2%. So we're at risk of losing good candidates as we lose our place in the ranking of salaries. The other possible side effect is losing staff, current staff, as they see higher salaries being passed in other districts. I can't quantify how much that would be, how many people we would lose, how many good candidates we wouldn't be able to grab. I can't quantify that.
I had another question for Dr. Burnett. You had said that we had received an extra $10 million this year from what the legislative session, as an estimate from this last legislative session.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
How much are we still behind from the cuts in 2011? 30-something million?
About 30 million that we've never made up from the 2011 cuts.
And the other districts are giving 3%. Are they growing at a faster rate so they're not having the same budget constraints that we are at the moment?
I think there would be a number of factors that play into that. As I think we've researched, we have I think most districts are in a similar boat that we are. It just depends on a variety of factors.
One more thing we have to think about too is we don't even know what the cost for TRS for our employees' benefits are going to be yet. I just think it's too early for us to be making this decision. And I appreciate what Dr. Brogman said, but we're one of the largest school districts in the state of Texas, and we are LISD. We're that school district. So I think there's an attraction, and our pay scale, while we have improved it over the years, I think that it will carry us another couple months till we have the information we need to make this decision.
I will say that we did get the TRS active care rates late Thursday. The state board met and set those rates. I was able to send that out late today. We are looking at increases across the board for all of our employees, not just in the premiums, but also increases in out-of-pocket maximums for all plans.
So now we don't know what percentage we would need to give our teachers to help them with that, or if we even could, because we still don't have all of our budget questions answered.
Depending on the plan chosen and the number of people covered, whether it's employee only to employee and full family, we're looking at an annual increase in premiums anywhere from $192 for an annual increase on the low end to over $2,300 annually, depending on the plan and the family unit covered.
But according to even the current salary schedules that you're suggesting, we can't match that decrease.
There will be, even with a 3% raise, there would be pay grades within the compensation system that would not reach the level that would cover the insurance. It depends on the employee and where they are in the pay grades, what is their job in the district, and who they're covering with their insurance.
Any other comments?
So how does that come into the conversation when you're interviewing about the health benefits, or about the, like, do applicants ask you about that or consider that for an attraction?
Health insurance is a part of the conversation. Oftentimes, I will say that most districts we compete with are using TRS Active Care. Now, the district side of the contribution is different everywhere, and we are competitive for our districts on the district contribution. Now, it's that district contribution differs according to the plan and who's covered, whether it's the employee only or employee and family, employee and spouse. But our district contribution ranges from $300 to $383. The $300 is maybe not as competitive, but the $383, that's outdoing our competitors on the contribution side from the district.
This is such a dilemma because, particularly in light of the information that was sent today, with the, we originally thought that we were not going to be having insurance increases, and now we know that we will. We also, we have a historical record there, and I think the modeling that was given today, I think, gives us a little more of a comfort level. However, I absolutely I think I fall on both sides of the fence, in the sense that I completely understand the reservations that Ms. Latham and Ms. Cox have verbalized, because I know it's not about not wanting to give a raise, but it's about wanting to make sure that we're making a good decision. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Sheffield. First off, we certainly know that, and I think our staff knows that our board wants to do the very best for them. We know the dilemma. We've tried to provide as much information as we can, as far as projected budget versus actual, and we remodeled that, and of course we were unable to provide that to you until today, and so we know some of you might not have been able to see that, but and because of that, and because of the dilemma that you're facing, we know you want to make the very best decision for our employees. There is no doubt in my mind that you intend to give them a raise, and the best raise that you can with the information that you have. So I would just ask that we just pull this item, and we will bring it back to you possibly in the July meeting that we're having the special or the board workshop, and just put that as an agenda. So,
would that be agreeable to everyone?
You want me to amend? I withdraw my motion.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ms. Latham. Okay. All right. So then the motion by Ms. Latham and Ms. Hassett has been withdrawn, and we will address that in July. And do you feel like we will have maybe some better numbers to go on at that point?
You'll have your certified tax values, which will be a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And also, while we're still on this topic, the group of employees that we had talked about that they're grossly underpaid, I would like information at that meeting on those employees.
We'll have that information. Dr. Brockman did provide some different options on those employees for the board to consider, so we can flesh that out even better. We certainly understand that you want to look at how can we provide even more enhanced compensation for those special groups of employees.
For those in the audience that are going, who?
It's our
The-
special education aides that are dealing with our BIC, AVLS.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Ms. Vaughn?
Dr. Rogers, can you just make sure that the staff people know that we are considering this? Because I know that they know we're discussing this, and I know you give them updates via email or whatever. I just want them to know that it wasn't, when they see a recap, we didn't even vote on anything. I don't want them the morale to go down or anything. I'm just concerned about that.
I think existing staff knows the heart of the board. I think Dr. Brockman talked a little bit about particularly those, the new employees, but we'll certainly communicate that.
Yes, thank you. I mean, again, I think we had the historical information. I know that we've had deficit budgets before, because we also know in the world of school finance that we end up putting money back into our fund balance. This deficit was just larger than we faced in the last several years, so I think it was just, a little bit of a shock. So, okay, well, thank you. Then we will look at addressing that in July. Moving on to consent items. Are there any that need to be pulled from consent? You have, Ms. Cox?
I want to pull K2G, K and H, K210, K212.
Wait. K2,
Oh, J.
J10.
J10, J12.
J12, okay.
And J still, J21 and 22.
Okay. Are there others? Ms. Hassett?
K2J28.
All those people in the audience following along.
Are there others?
Was there one that we were going to, we got the email that we weren't going to
that
be
was on, no, it was the pavilion. It was.
Oh, yes.
Yes. That was it's already noted.
It's already noted? Okay. I just want to make sure.
Okay. All right. Would someone like to make the motion?
Ms. Sheffield, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items laid out with the exception, with the exception of 2G, 2H, 2J10, 2J12, 2J21, 2J22, 2J28, and also note that 2I3 was pulled by administration.
Thank you, Ms. Latham. Do I have a second? What was that? Okay. That was a motion by Ms. Latham, a second by Ms. Vaughn. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? That is unanimous. All right. Ms. Cox, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to consider approval of RFQ number 218511, Architectural Services for Hebron High School softball pitching warm-up area renovations.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you, Ms. Cox and Ms. Latham. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes. They've come to the table several times talking about the Hebron and the softball, so I just want to make sure that we're addressing all the issues right now. I mean, not all of them, but what's required.
Yeah, this is a safety issue as far as their pitching area, and we needed to bring it to you to address. One, we had to have someone look at what was involved, and then we had to bid it because it's over $20,000. We need to bring it to your attention. So I don't know if Mr. Martin might have more information.
Is this coming out of the maintenance fund or the bond fund?
I believe it's maintenance, but don't quote Craig.
I believe that's coming out of Mr. Williams' facility services budget.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This item would need approval first to start the bid process, to start the design, and then the resolution to start the work and the advertisement. That process. We would still come back to the board with a price for the project, but to start the design and the engineering of this project, we have to have approval for that to start.
And Ms. Cox, just for both the Colony High School softball field and for Hebron High School softball field, I and Ms. Lewis met with principal, the coaches, several months ago, and we said, okay, we can't build you new softball facilities, but what are safety concerns? And we went through the list, and so those are the items that we're trying to take care of, and this is one of those items.
So you feel confident with this is the anticipated cost, and it will address all the safety issues?
Williams, talk about that.
Yes, ma'am. As confident as we can be with knowing that bid has to go out. We believe the numbers are accurate, and we've addressed a number of things that Dr. Rogers just mentioned, and this would be the final piece we would have.
I think it's fair to state that to answer your initial question, this does not address all of the Hebron softball booster clubs wish list, want list, actual issues. This only addresses the safety, those items that were deemed safety issues.
Okay. So I guess we're ready for vote. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. All right. Ms. Cox, would you like to make the motion for the next one?
I'd like to consider approval of a resolution designating competitive sealed proposal at the method of construction for Hebron High School softball warm-up pitching area renovations.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Latham. Ms. Cox, would you like to speak to your motion?
I'm good with this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're ready to vote. Okay. All those in favor? That's unanimous. All right. Ms. Cox, would you like to make a motion for the next item?
Yes, I'll make a motion for the renewal of RFP number 2218-12 Utilities Management Service.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Latham. Ms. Cox?
I would just like to clarify, it seems like it's not a large expense, but it is. So I would like to just clarify what services this company provides to us to saving cost on our utilities, and is it effective?
Mr. Martin or Mr. Williams, do you want to speak to that? We also have why don't you speak to the overview of the relationship, and then any details that may come up.
Yes, Ms. Cox, thank you. That's a very good question. For several years, the district has engaged an energy management company, the catalyst being the legislative action requiring school districts to reduce consumption by 5% a year. Aramark has been the contracted vendor for these years. They provide 3 full-time engineering degreed persons, as well as a half-time of a registered engineer. They really evaluate all kinds of actions in the school district. Requests for occupied air conditioning outside of normal school times. They review bills. They join in with with construction to determine the best and most efficient pieces of equipment. They do energy audits of buildings at midnight to see what's still left on, such as computers and lights, and work with our custodial team to get them to turn lights off and things like that. We believe they bring tremendous value, and it's something that we deal with every day. The personnel are occupied in the maintenance building. They are on site and really just addressed all kinds of things. The district has grown in the last 4 years. The district has grown quite a bit, square footage wise. But if you would track our utility costs certainly have not grown in comparison to that. As one evidence of the efficiency and effectiveness of this of their work. Our lead engineer for Airmark, Tom Kenna, is here. I would ask if he would might maybe take just a couple of minutes and talk to you about the value from their perspective. Mr. Kenna.
While he's coming forward, I think it's important to note that they monitor all the district's utilities, not just electricity, but also water usage and gas usage as well.
Hello, President Sheffield, board members, Dr. Rogers. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And one of the things I'd like to do is give you a quick overview of just what type of services we provide. As Mr. Williams mentioned, we have 3 full-time degreed engineers here. And those 3 gentlemen that are with me, Jeremy Nelson, Anthony Scapera, and Nonso Agalu, spend a lot of time, surveying your facilities and finding opportunities for saving energy. But more importantly, one of the things that we do for you is we basically have hands-on control of your systems. It took us about a year. Our first year here began in 2008, the 1st of September of 2008. And after about 9 months, people started trusting us to actually putting our hands on your systems, and which is fair because it's a very powerful system. One of the things that kicks it up a notch for LASD is that you have about 99.99% of your systems are reachable through a central building automation system. We also call it an energy management system. Many, many places do not have that. And so that allows us to focus on using, and basically one of the things I like to say is flying your systems. It gives us the opportunity to piggyback on things like you have a system called FS Direct under contract, and it's through the School Dude company. And what that does is that allows you to schedule your after-hours use of your facilities and make rental charges and so forth. I'm sure you're familiar with that. We piggyback on that, and we ask people to schedule their air requests for after-hours, weekends, and so forth, at the same time that they're scheduling all those other events. So the campuses are familiar with doing that. And so we schedule approximately 19,000 systems using that system per year. So those 3 gentlemen behind me are very busy. The other thing that we do is we use your work order system. In the spring of 2009, the administration at that time put together a Energy Management Advisory Committee, and it was an ad hoc committee. It's not a standing committee. And we basically met formally twice. And at that meeting, we brought in representatives from secondary education, elementary education, the athletic side, and we asked people how they used their facilities, both with respect to temperature and schedule. And Dr. Rogers, you may remember that meeting. And at that time, we came up with an operating scenario not only for individual elementary schools, but areas within the elementary schools and high schools and so forth, such as band halls, gymnasiums, laboratory rooms, rooms with special requirements. Band halls are when they're used, but there's also where do we store expensive music instruments and so forth. So we came up with temperature and humidity standards that we would attempt to control for and make sure that we did not violate at the same time that we were attempting to save energy. So with very few modifications, basically additions of new requirements that have occurred since 2009, we publish each year for the campus's use what their standard operating hours are in the various areas within their buildings. And then we actually reach in and we schedule those as a standard routine schedule. And then those other 19,000 scheduling events that I mentioned, What they are is things that are over and above that. And so we reach in and we call it micro-scheduling, because we reach in, we don't schedule an entire campus, which was the practice before we began this journey together in partnership with y'all. And so that is probably that, and adhering to very reasonable temperature standards in both heating and cooling are where the majority of the savings come from since the 1st of September 2008. And so it's been a very successful program. And I was here full-time. You can tell by the gray hair I'm the senior engineer guy. But I was here full-time until we went to the marketplace in 2012, once again to rebid. And we basically reduced my role to half-time. And so I'm here, I actually office here a little bit more than half-time, but then I get to advise these guys and answer their questions while I'm doing some other things as well. So there have been some other ways that we interface with you. Just very briefly, one of the things we do is we review all of your work orders, all your I'm too hot, I'm too cold work orders. They come to us first. I have a trained engineer look at every one of those, and they look into the system through the building automation system at that school. We have the ability, because of the points, the sensors are generically called points, excuse me, we have the ability to look in and we can tell with with definitely 99.9% assurance whether we can tell whether that unit is operating properly. The only thing that could be impacting the situation might be is if the sensors are somehow not being accurate, which is very, very rare. So what does that mean to you? What that means is that by an actual count over the last 2 years, 40% of the requests for I'm too hot or I'm too cold met the temperature guidelines that we all agreed upon in 2009. The benefit effect of that is that the technicians that LASD does have get to spend their time on the things that truly are broken, rather than driving across this very large 127 square mile school district to use gasoline and time to go out to say, well, things are actually operating correctly. So that's kind of like a secondary benefit. It does save you money, and it shows up across a lot of different areas. And although it's not a part of our contract, we also, Mr. Williams invites us to attend his, I guess they're biweekly now, meetings that we meet with all of his senior zone managers and so forth. So we get to hear what their issues are, and we get to identify opportunities. One of these opportunities was there was a situation in 2010 where a lot of the gymnasium lighting was reaching its designed end of life. And it was of a type of lighting that as it reached its end of life, it got dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So there was a lot of discussion, and we said, well, hey, we think we can help with that. And what we did is we came up with a proposed lighting solution, got with Jason Hughes and Mr. Williams. We got a contract approved through this board, and to use a district contractor. It was not something that Aramark benefited from the standpoint of the contract had not come through us. But we basically helped select the equipment and so forth, as Larry Williams mentioned just a little while ago. And we basically replaced the lighting in 70 gyms over 2 summers. The first summer alone, we got a $38,000 rebate from CoServe Electric in their rebate program. And one of the things on the table was basically, prior to that interaction, was that we were going to just replace the lights with what we had, which would have provided good lighting. But this gave us a rebate. It gave us better lighting. and it also, the lighting that we chose had a 5-year guarantee. So these are the kind of things that we can contribute, beyond the energy management. And as Dr. Burnett mentioned, this second contract that I mentioned earlier, we brought water management into the contract. And the midnight visits that Mr. Williams mentioned, they refer to one of the best ways to find out whether there's a leak in a 400,000 square foot facility like Marcus High School is watch the meter after when the building's supposed to be empty, and you can see flow. And so that's why we find the meters during the day, and then we tell the security folks not to get us arrested when we go out there after midnight, and we shine flashlights at meters in the ground and look to see whether we see any flow through the meters. May I answer any questions?
Question? Do you know what the cost savings has been last year? Do you know roughly?
We've discussed that.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Well, basically, last year, for 13-14, the cost savings were $2,171,000 compared to the baseline year. Now, the life of the contract savings are $11.8 million. And that's with the baseline year being 07-08, which is the baseline year that's stipulated by the state in the legislation that Mr. Williams mentioned. And it's in your summary sheet. Senate Bill 300 modified was the modification to 44902 in the Texas Education Code. And now that is energy, that's not water, because water was not. We did not include water in that calculation because it was not in the contract from the beginning. So this is electricity and natural gas. And I'd also like to point out that the state law basically refers to electricity, not natural gas, because the electrical grid, the size, the electrical distribution capacity in the state was the concern, was the impetus behind that bill.
Great, thank you. If you could just help us with our deficit a little bit more savings, that'd be awesome.
We'll do our best.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, all those in favor? And that's unanimous. All right, Ms. Cox, item 12.
Yes, I make a motion to approve the renewal of the CSP number 222812 cabinetry millwork services.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Ms. Cox, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I'm just curious, once again, I think we keep having these discussions of why this item can't be under facilities and why we have to outsource cabinetry work.
Yes, ma'am. We have a small cabinet shop and a small crew of people to build cabinets. They really do tremendous work. There are times the campus requests exceed our ability to produce cabinetry in a timely fashion. We have a service contract like this just to help in that respect. If we did not have a vendor to respond in this way, I believe we would still get the work done, just not in as timely of a manner. And that's been the source of it, trying to provide good, fast service to campus needs as their building conditions change.
It just seemed like a minimal amount, so I was curious on, how often you're doing cabinetry work.
I would say we do cabinetry work continually, but in summertime, such as this, we just have demands that exceed our ability to keep up with that. Classrooms change, learning spaces change, offices change, and there's just that need. And so it is a minimal amount, and we don't just use it erratically, but just when we can't meet the need in a timely fashion.
And just to clarify, if I understand it correctly, you would only use these vendors, this one and others, when your staff has. When you get into a backflow situation where you've got trying to meet the needs of campuses and you can't. Would that be correct?
Yes, ma'am. We don't have a list of projects to fulfill this this bid total at this time. It's just there as
right. And it may or may not be used.
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, all those in favor? And that's unanimous. All right, Ms. Cox, item 21.
I make a motion for the renewal of RFP number 2366-14, elementary supplemental STEM instructional materials.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Ms. Cox?
This was more just for a clarification. I was curious what schools I will be receiving this.
Good evening. We have 8 elementary schools who, in some form or fashion, are interested in exploring or are already pursuing STEM-related education for students. That is Parkway, Creekside, Prairie Trail, Donald, Independence, Central, College Street, and Vickery.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Okay, thanks, Ms. Rapp. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. And Ms. Cox, number 22.
Should have just taken all of them. Make a motion for the renewal of student planners EPCNT Plano ISD number 2015-011 and Richardson ISD number 1249.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Timish. All right, Ms. Cox, would you like to speak to your motion?
This, again, I was just wanting more of a clarification. It shows on here about the $5 reimbursement costs. So I was wondering if that would zero out some of the costs that we're spending, and then if the iPads could maybe be more of a source for the calendars. So.
There are still campus principals that choose to use planners. Certainly, as I think is noted, it's on the major decrease because of technology. It does zero out. These are campus funds that are used to purchase the planners, and then of course when they purchase, when the student pays the $5, it goes back. So it is a zero out.
Just want to make sure it's like it would be a zero balance once the $5. Okay, thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Cox, a second by Ms. Timish. All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, Ms. Hassett, item number 28.
Yes, I make a motion for acceptance of computer, laptop, tablet, computing device, product, software, services, DIR, TCPN, TIPS, TAPS, ByBoard, EPCNT.
Thank you, Ms. Hassett. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Timish. Ms. Hassett, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I had a question. Sorry, I didn't catch this one earlier from all the other ones I asked you about. Be quiet. It says it's bond monies are being used out of this one. I was just wondering if those are out of the existing money that we still have left in this current bond?
Yes. Some of these funds are bond monies.
Do we know how much are bond money coming out of that?
Not to exceed $500,000. End-of-life computers, virus software is what we have planned to spend.
But does this meet with the safety type issues that we also wanted to address?
Yeah, no, this is bond money that's already been set aside previously for technology.
Yes, for end-of-life devices.
It's not new money.
No,
that's what
it's not.
Okay, I wanted to verify.
Are there other questions? All right, all those in favor? That's unanimous. And, all right, this concludes the business portion of our agenda. We will take a short break and then convene into closed session to a Level 3 student parent complaint. The time is now 9:12.
And you just
We will now reconvene into open session. The time is now 10:40. Do I have a motion?
Ms. Sheffield, I'll make a motion to grant the parent's appeal and the administrative directive to be set aside. The student will be allowed to use his or her own equipment and photograph LISD events open to the public from public viewing areas.
Thank you, Ms. Latham. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hassett. I have a motion by Ms. Latham, a second by Ms. Hassett. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll call for the vote. Oh, Ms. Cox?
I would just like to ask staff to please review the policy.
Yes, thank you. And so, Dr. Rogers, you can do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, all those in favor? And that's unanimous. And if there is no further business, this meeting is adjourned, and the time is now 10:41.